everyone, I'm Sunny. Welcome to another edition of Ask Starbase. Our question today is from Machi, and Machi would like to know, can people walk on water? Well, let's get our feet wet and find out. Water, as you know, comprises more than 70% of the total surface area of the Earth, which makes the oceans extremely important modes of travel. It would have been much easier for us if we could simply cross the lengths of the seas and oceans without the help of boats, ships, or air transportation. This is especially difficult because, as you know, we can't stand upright on water without eventually sinking. However, the reason we sink whenever we try to walk on the surface is because the water is just not dense enough. Now, why do we sink? This might seem pretty obvious if you believe that humans are simply too heavy to stand on water, but it's a little more complicated than that. The principle that determines whether a body can sink or not is called Archimedes' principle. It states that for a body to float, it needs to displace the exact same amount of water with a weight equal to the weight of the floating body. The weight of the displaced water exerts a force on the body, causing it to float. This force is called buoyant force, and we can change its value by changing certain characteristics of water. The condition for floating is quite simple. The buoyant force should be greater than or equal to the weight of the body. If the value of buoyant force is large enough, then a body floats. Otherwise, it sinks. So how can we increase this buoyant force? We could increase the density of the water. The content of salt inside water affects its density. The density of salt water is more than that of fresh water. Therefore, it's easier to float in the sea than a river. Density of water increases with a decrease in the temperature, so it's easier to float in colder water. We could increase the amount of water displaced by increasing the volume of the submerged body. This is why ships have a big hollow base, to give it more volume. The second way is to increase the viscosity of water. When we're underwater, we experience drag force. This quality of the fluid to resist force or inhibit motion is called the viscosity of the fluid. If the viscosity is strong enough, the friction force exerted upwards by the fluid could actually stop us from sinking. And one other possible way is to run extremely fast, much faster than humanly possible. We wouldn't sink while running at high speeds because the friction force experienced due to water also depends on the relative speed the body is moving when it is underwater. But to run on water, you would have to run 3 times as fast as the fastest man on Earth, and that would be about 70 miles per hour. So technically speaking, walking over pure water isn't possible. The only way it can be done is by converting it to a high-density fluid with high viscosity. Thank you for joining me for this edition of Ask Starbase. If you have a STEM question for us, you can email us at ask@starbase-ct.com or go to our website, www.starbase-ct.com. Until next time, bye!